The Great Americans Medal honors Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg for her groundbreaking judicial work, her fierce advocacy for gender equality, and her extraordinary leadership in the quest for justice under law.
Whatever you choose to do, leave tracks, and that means don't do just for yourself, because in the end it's not going to be fully satisfying. You will want to leave the world a little better for your having lived.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born at Beth Moses Hospital in New York on March 15, 1933. She grew up in a neighborhood of Jewish immigrants in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn. Her mother was deeply influential in her life, encouraging her ambition and her love for the arts. CELIA Bader had been forced to drop out of school in order to put her brother through college. She wanted her daughter to have the opportunities that she had been denied. CELIA would pass away the day of Ginsburg's high school graduation after a battle with cancer.
I pray that I may be all that she would have been had she lived in an age when women could aspire and achieve, and daughters are cherished as much as sons.
Ginsburg attended Cornell University, graduating in 1954 at the top of her class. At Cornell, she met her husband, Martin Ginsburg, whom she affectionately called Marty.
He was the first boy I ever knew who cared that I had a brain.
They wed in 1954 and were married for 56 years. Ginsburg had joined Marty at Harvard Law School, where she was one of 9 women in a class of over 500 men. When Marty was diagnosed with cancer, Ginsburg helped him recover and graduate on time, all while completing her own degree requirements and caring for their toddler daughter, Jane. When her husband joined a New York law firm, Ginsburg transferred to Columbia Law School, graduating in 1959. Despite her achievements, she struggled to get hired. Although recommended for a Supreme Court clerkship, she wasn't even offered an interview. A 1962 trip to Sweden had a profound impact on her work. While doing legal research on gender equality, she witnessed a culture where working women were the norm. She would say that her thought processes were stimulated in Sweden, and she saw what needed to change in the States. Ginsburg went on to become a professor at Rutgers Law School, and her son James was born in 1965. In 1971, Ginsburg co-founded the Women's Rights Project at the American Civil Liberties Union, where she took on cases that sought to dismantle cultural, gender-based restrictions and to provide gender equality under the law. Her first major case, Reed versus Reed, she challenged an Idaho statute that automatically gave preference to men for appointment as administrator of a deceased person's estate. In another early case, Moritz versus Commissioner of Internal Revenue, took on the IRS for denying a man a medical tax deduction to care for his elderly mother solely because of his gender. This landmark ruling was the first time that the Supreme Court held that a law providing differential treatment of men and women violates the 14th Amendment.
We wanted to say that the law should not pigeonhole people, that man or woman should be able to do whatever his or her talents made right for that person.
At the ACLU, she took part in 34 cases before the United States Supreme Court, serving as lead counsel in 6 cases, 5 of which she won. In 1980, Ginsburg was appointed by President Jimmy Carter to the D.C. Circuit Court. President Bill Clinton nominated her to serve as the nation's second female justice on the Supreme Court. She took the bench in 1993.